Thank you, Senator. Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I ask the following two foundational questions of all nominees who come before any of the committees on which I sit to gauge fitness to serve. So I will ask the panel, and we'll start with Mr. Duva and go down the line in your responses. Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement related to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator Hirono.
No, excuse me, no, Senator.
No, Senator.
For Mr. Duva, if confirmed, you would oversee the public integrity section at the Department of Justice. Are you familiar with that section?
I am, Senator. I've tried cases with the public integrity section myself as an AUSA
Familiar.
in the Middle District of Florida.
So the public integrity section targets corruption. So let me ask you, if an incoming member of the government accepted $50,000 in cash in exchange for future government contracts, would that be a possible sign of bribery? Or I believe you referred to it as public corruption, yes or no?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Like, can somebody tell me how this person keeps getting reelected, for crying out loud? Like, I don't understand how generic, how much of an AI this person seems. Senator Hirono, just like, she loves going off about that $50,000. I mean, how many times are you going to keep repeating these same questions to different people and expecting different answers, right? It's the definition of insanity, if you ask me. These people manufacture chaos. And they're like, look, Republicans are evil. They accepted a $50,000 bribe. I love every single minute of this, by the way. And it's great. It is great to watch Senator Hirono. She is absolutely worse than a robot. Just worse than a robot. But you guys do me that favor. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Click that join button. Sign up and become a member. That's the best way to help this channel expand and grow. And without any further ado, here's more of Senator Hirono, by the way.
Senator Hirono, I'll answer that with any case that comes to one of our trial attorneys will be evaluated based on the facts and the law. I think you're referring to some recent news.
So would you consider that accepting $50,000 that might raise questions about a bribe? I mean, I think it's a bribe, but, you know, what do you say to it? Do you think that it's an indication?
It depends on the facts and the law. I know you're talking about a specific investigation that has been declined by the Attorney General and the FBI, but if you repurpose that, it's not just one thing that happens. It is basically you have to evaluate and investigate what happens.
Well, I think that there was no, whatever evaluation there was, although we're told by the Attorney General there was an evaluation, but we still don't know what happened to that money. Let me ask you another question. If a member of government complains that they don't have a nice enough airplane and then a foreign government offers to donate an airplane to them, would that be also a sign, possible sign of bribery or public corruption? Again, yes or no?
I think you're talking, Senator, about the emoluments clause. I think it's the first I've heard of that clause in the news recently in the last 6 months or so. That is not something that the criminal division would weigh in on. That is an Office of Legal Policy question.
Well, you can sit there and tell me that it's an issue that will go to some other entity, but you know you're going to be running a department that concerns itself with public corruption. So I just want to know, I think the American people would like to know whether something like that, where a president accepts a plane that is worth some $400 million, whether that indicates bribery or public corruption. You're not responding, so let me ask you another. If a member of the government wants to build a new government building and big tech billionaires jump in line to pay for it, would that raise concerns about bribery or public corruption?
Senator, I don't know what specific incident you're talking about. I'm not familiar with that.
Building
but
of
as
the
I said
ballroom.
before,
The demolition of the East Wing and a building of the ballroom. You are aware that that is happening.
I am aware of that.
Does that indicate public corruption or bribery?
I don't see how that is. I don't know how that came about or the procurement for it or who's involved. That's
There
just
was
not
nothing.
something
The
I'm
president
familiar with.
decided that it would be a good idea, and companies are jumping in line to try and curry favor with them.
And again, Senator, we
Justice
operate on the
Crane,
facts. I don't know the facts
I'm running
of
out
that.
of time. Thank you very much for your non-answers. For Justice Crane, when you were running for the Louisiana Supreme Court in 2019, the news article stated, Crane has become the favorite choice of big oil and other industry and statewide business groups, viewed as a sympathetic ear for an industry facing pending litigation by coastal parties and landowners seeking payment for decades of alleged damage to coastal land by oil and gas companies. Did Justice Crane, did Chevron, the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association, and Koch Industry donate to your campaign?
Senator, I don't know because campaign contributions in Louisiana go through a campaign committee that we are prohibited from soliciting or participating in.
Oh, so you don't know who contributes to your campaigns?
I do not know specifically whether those entities.
So therefore, if entities like this, which by the way they did donate to you, if you have no awareness of them donating to you, so that if matters that relate to them and their interests come before you, you wouldn't even know whether to recuse yourself? Is that the situation?
Well, that actually is, I think, one of the rationales and motivations for the prohibition for us being able to solicit or
Well, it's pretty
participate
clear that you favored these industries, and as a matter of fact, when a case came before the Louisiana Supreme Court, you dissented from the court's majority to support the oil and gas industries. So thank you very much. I have some other questions that I will submit for the record, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator,
I am a robot and I do not listen to answers from anybody. And considering that you are not responding to me, I am going to just continue forward with different questions. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, she asked the dude a question, and then she goes on this rant about, oh, well, you're dodging the question when, hang on just a second. He said that has nothing to do with the department that he's going to. That would be a completely different department. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. You're trying to dodge the question, and now you're not responding. Like, what are you talking about? Like, lady, like, he gave you the answers. He answered the question. This is the problem with these senators. Like, once again, folks, I beg the question, how does this person continue to get reelected, for crying out loud? When does she like talk like that on the campaign trail as well? I would love to know. I haven't seen any of her campaign ads or seen her on the campaign trail or anything like that, so I really don't know. And I didn't think about doing that. That just kind of popped in my head when I started recording this thing. Is like, does she actually act like that on the campaign trail? Because every single committee hearing that I've seen her in, this is how she's acting. Just like a robot, I am asking questions, and since you are not responding, like, how do we continue with this? Like, once again, folks, these people don't pay attention to reality. They'll see a headline and read that headline and be like, oh, corruption. We're going to go ask some retarded questions, just to be straight up honest with you, retarded questions about what we read in a headline. Let's ask some real people some retarded questions and see what happens here. Oh, you gave me an answer I didn't like, so I'm going to respond with you. You are not responding to the question. It's fascinating, y'all. And the real question that should be asked is, how come you Democrats are continuing to keep the government shut down? Why do you continuously vote for this? Like Chuck Schumer made a statement the other day about a New York Times poll that came out that is actually blaming Democrats for the government shutdown. And he said, oh, well, the New York Times is biased. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, the whole room erupted in laughter out of that. The copium from the Democrats is like next level, just gone. Like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about here. Are you trying to tell me that the New York Times is biased toward Donald Trump? Like, that's fascinating. That's news to me. Like, I heard another clip the other day where they were talking about, I think it was, what's his name? Robert De Niro. Took me a second to get that out. He was on MSNBC talking about, all these rural areas, all they watch is Fox News, and they don't know what's really happening in this country. Maybe we should shut them down. They want to shut down Fox News, and they think that that's all we listen to out here in the sticks, and that's all we do. That's all we know, right? Like, they don't understand that we see reality. Most conservatives, they don't just watch Fox News. They watch news from all over the place. A lot of people, they want to know what's going on. At least I do, for sure. I watch MSNBC all the damn time because I want to know what the hell these Democrats are saying. I want to know what they're talking about. I want to know what's actually going on because, once again, folks, I read left-wing news, right-wing news, centrist news just to figure out what's actually happening. Because they say when you have two sides of the story, the truth usually falls somewhere in the middle. Well, that doesn't mean that the centrist news is always correct either, right? Most centrist news, or what's labeled as centrist news, is not really centrist news. It's just left-leaning news, right? There's hardly any right-leaning news organization, like popular ones at least. There's plenty of smaller publications, but there's not many big ones out there. You got Fox News, but Fox News isn't really conservative because they're still corporate press, in other words. Yeah, they do tell you the truth a whole hell of a lot more than like NBC, ABC, CBS, and all these places. But it's fascinating. These Democrats, now they're on the losing end. Now that the American people are starting to see that, hang on just a second, yeah, I think it is Democrats, considering the fact that Democrats keep voting against the government shutdown. Yeah, it is their fault. And it is their fault, as a matter of fact. So that I just find all this very, very fascinating, y'all. And, I might cover that clip. I might throw it in a video later. Y'all make sure and check out my news videos, by the way, because they're highly informative. We deep dive into news segments, and I figure out how you're being manipulated, and we find the truth, folks. That's what we do around here. Because, what else? Do you want to just be lied to, for crying out loud? Like, what's fascinating about that is, a lot of people, they'll take that corporate press and they'll vehemently defend that corporate press narrative, folks. They will vehemently defend it until one day they run into that wall, that truth wall that bounces them back. And once they figure out, hang on, I've been lied to a lot by these people, you start going back in your head. And you start thinking, well, was this a lie? Was this a lie? Was this a lie? And you do a little bit of research, and when you find out that, yes, you were lied to over and over and over again, just about for everything, just about, right? That kind of ticks you off. You get mad at that point because you feel like you're a victim. I wouldn't say to anybody that you should play the victim, but a lot of people that buy into that narrative are being victimized, and they don't even freaking know it. That's what I always say, folks. This is why this country is bifurcated. Half of this country basically is, just living that delusion corporate press narrative world, and the other half, they seek the truth. Not always right, folks. Like, once again, folks, I give out the news. I'm not always right. Some of my opinions may be a little bit off. They may be a little bit wrong. Sometimes I might come across a news article and see something, do some research, and come to find out that little bit of research that I did, oops, fake news, folks. But I always go back and retract every single time. And I don't do it often, though. I don't do it often because I take that extra step to make sure that what I am telling is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, folks. Because once again, I have an incentive because I want to know the truth. Therefore, I'm sharing that truth with you guys. It is what it is. But that doesn't stop people from coming into the comment section and calling me, oh, I'm a Trump shill and I'm just an idiot. I'm lying about everything. I'm uninformed. I'm uneducated. As a matter of fact, I'm living in a bubble. That's my favorite one, by the way. Oh, you're just in an echo chamber over there. Echo chamber, huh? Right? Like, what's fascinating is when I'll read a news article from ABC or I don't know, the Huffington Post, the Washington Post, the Associated Press. I usually do Associated Press news articles, right? The Associated Press leans left. People will leave. Get out of your echo chamber, bro, and touch grass. And on that video that they commented, I'm reading an Associated Press news article. Are you kidding me with that? Like, people are they just don't think about what they're going to say. They don't use any sort of logic whatsoever. They'll hear a narrative, repeat a narrative, and that it is what it is. That's what they do. And I love it, folks. I love knocking all this nonsense down. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. So I want you guys to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. So, because I find it fascinating. Senator Hirono is just a robot. I am a robot. I got elected to the Senate to ask questions to Trump judicial nominees. It's fascinating. Y'all don't forget, smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And if you would be so inclined, I would love you guys to death. I'm not lying about this. And I need y'all's help on this because, you know, these corporate press outlets, they operate with these huge freaking budgets, right? And guess how much the budget is around here? It's nothing, to be honest with you. I mean, I go to work every day, for crying out loud. I work 8 hours, come home, grind my ass off on research and all this other nonsense. And then I come out here and record and then spend the rest of my day editing videos and uploading them until it's time to go to bed, literally. Until it's time to go to bed. So I need y'all's help on that. Y'all click that join button, sign up, and become a member. That's the best way to help this channel expand and grow. But without any further ado, it's the end of the video, and you know the slogan is coming, y'all, that God has a plan for everybody. He does, absolutely. And he loves each and every one of you out there. So I want y'all to try to have a good day and stay logical. Peace.